Welcome back. Uber's CEO Travis Kalanick stepping down from the helm of the company, leading some to wonder if Uber just should have gone public earlier to help manage the company. This is what Kalanick had to say about a potential IPO.
I am your classic founder entrepreneur that's way more into product innovation and building a company than I am like thinking about liquidity. And so this is about building the company. You guys have seen me over the years. It's always been that way for me. And I've said, even on CNBC, that we're going to take as long as we possibly can to go public.
Well, does Uber's situation now impact other private companies as they're trying to figure out whether to go public or not? John Elton is here. He's a partner at Graycroft Partners. And Ajeet Singh checks in as well as the CEO of ThoughtSpot. John, what kind of message does it send? The whole point of being private was that something like this wouldn't happen, that you might be able to maintain control, you wouldn't be pressured to leave, and yet this is the outcome for Uber. What does that say to everybody else?
Well, first off, I don't think this is unique to private companies. Public companies have had Enron-size, scandals. So I don't think this has broader ramifications in private companies and whether they decide to go public or not. I do think openness generally leads to, better outcomes. So going public would make sense for that, but I don't think it has bigger ramifications.
Ajeet, what about you? Same question. Did staying private afford Uber any protections that other companies might get by being too scared to go public?
Yeah, I agree with John. I don't think that there is any correlation between being private or public versus what is going on at Uber. In fact, if you look at one of the largest private software companies in the world, SaaS has been around for so long, and it's a fantastic company known for its great culture. With a founder who's been the CEO from the beginning. So I don't think being private or public really matters. You have to have transparency and accountability in all these cases, and you have to be accountable to all your shareholders as well as your employees and their families. So that doesn't change at all.
John, it would seem that if it were a public company and you're sitting there watching the stock go down every day or having to have your investor relations people kind of fight this war on a daily basis as the headlines keep coming out, you can kind of understand why they cry uncle. But I do want to get behind a little bit the motivation of maybe where this got to a critical point for Uber, which is, they are a very large company with lots of outside investors, but also they're in the market for talent every day, right? So they have to kind of constantly hire and sell the company to new prospects.
I think that's a great point. I think that's the heart of this matter, and the heart of the decision is people are the lifeblood of any company, but in particular a technology company. I mean, the real asset of Uber is its brilliant software engineers, brilliant team. And if you think about yourself, like, would I want to work at Uber with all of this going on? You read that blog post, it's a gut-wrenching kind of blog post.
Talking about Susan J. Fowler's blog post.
And so I think their ability to track and retain talent is probably the biggest catalyst for this change.
And Ajeet, so I guess it depends on who the new CEO is, because right now the company's being run by committee, and I'm not sure that makes it a very attractive place to work either. Who do you think is the right person for this role?
Yeah, I think it's a tough call. In fact, in the Valley, there are some examples like this. Palo Alto Networks, which is a $10+ billion company, before going public, they were without a CEO for almost a year. And it was run by, some of the senior executives, and they had to go through 60 or 70 executives that they interviewed, where there was a good cultural fit. So ultimately, I think the right CEO will be someone who will be a builder and who can help improve the culture of the company, if that is indeed the issue, and come with that sort of mentality. It's very, very hard to find a CEO who will not be just a professional CEO, because founders do build companies very differently. So it's going to be a tough search for sure.
Yeah, and we got to go. Michael, all I would say, too, is now it's still going to be hard for Uber to go public. Now they have to navigate this as they're preparing. And you just wonder if they had already gone through that whole process, and this would have been the outcome anyway, if it would have,
You obviously don't know. On the other hand, I mean, their business model is unproven right now in terms of getting to profitability. So you don't really know what kind of reception they might have had in the public market.
I know.
At what valuation. So
much more excited about it back then.
A lot of play in all these questions.
You're invested in one of their competitors. They're all over the place, these guys. Guys, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
John Elton and Ajeet Singh.